today we are on video 3 of how to simplify your homeschool to connect with what matters most. Now, if you're just joining us, I want to encourage you to go back and check out videos 1 and 2. So in video 1, we talked about establishing your homeschool vision and creating a mission statement. There we talked about the why behind your homeschool, so that's the heart behind your homeschool, and identifying what is most important so that you can ultimately embrace that throughout your homeschool journey. Now, video 2, we talked about the homeschool big picture. And so that's the piece that I shared how to get there. So in video 1, we talked about starting with the end in mind, and video 2, we broke down that process. We identified 9 key topic areas, starting with specific requirements you could have. And then we created bucket lists for each of those, things that you found most important and wanted to make sure to accomplish throughout your homeschool journey with your kids. Now, this is a custom plan. I talked you through everything so that you could follow along in your own notebook if you chose to. But if you wanted the pre-made forms and everything kind of laid out for you, I do have this available for sale on my website. It is a PDF download, so you can customize it however you choose in order to create a system that works best for you. Now, I have mine here, and this is my homeschool bucket planner. This is something that I go back to throughout the entire homeschool year. So it is my little journal area where I'm logging in ideas all the time. If I'm seeing resources I like, I'm plugging them in under the correct buckets like we talked about. I'm also using this as a place where I keep book lists and books I want to read with the kids and books that people share with me. All that's going in here. So this is my bank of ideas that I turn to at the beginning of every homeschool year. So today, as we talk about planning the actual homeschool year, I'm coming back to this part of my big picture, my vision. I'm reading through them again. I'm kind of looking at what are the things I want to target this particular year. And then I'm going to use those pieces to plug it into this next phase. So this is the hard part. This is the part that takes the most work. But once this is completed, then everything else is so much easier throughout the year. So it has your homeschool planner, our school year, and it starts off with this form that says, my child, my student. And so we always want to start with our children in mind. Sometimes we can get lost in this great curriculum, but if the curriculum is not a good fit for our children, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So starting with our child's strengths and abilities, identifying their struggles and supports, things that are their areas of weakness that you'll want to target, areas of focus for this year. So this could be based on those struggles, and it can also be based on their strengths. What are some areas that you really want to target in this homeschool year? And then a place here for a prayer for your child. After going through this process for each child, then you can start mapping out what you want to target. Now, I have a couple of different forms here depending on how you approach it. I created both because I've used both depending on where we were in our journey. So this first one is for student goals, and you'll notice it has all 9 buckets on one form. And so this is a quick and easy form. It's something that's simpler, so if you don't want to go into too much detail, you can just pull up your buckets, look at discipleship, for example, and plug in specific goals that you want to focus on throughout the year. And then you continue that process all the way through in the 9 buckets. Now, if your buckets are different, of course, I have a blank version here that you can use to customize that for your homeschool. The other version pretty much breaks it apart a little bit just in case you have more of a group study. So if you do family homeschool for some subjects and then independent studies like reading, writing, and math for your individual children, then these forms might be better for you. Or breaking it up like this in your notebook may be better for you as well. So on this first form, you'll see it's just broken down by the main academics. So it's reading, language arts, math, and extras. And so again, it's taking the bucket planning system here, the big picture, going to reading and saying, okay, what are our areas of focus this year? What are the specific goals we have for reading? Is it that we want to read different genres this year, or we want to target text structures or deeper reading skills, or are we still working through fluency issues? What is it that we're targeting here that we can have tangibly at the end of the year to evaluate our progress? Same thing for language arts, math. And then extras could be extracurricular activities. It could be something specific to that child. If you have a child with special needs, and their extras may be certain therapy exercises or activities that they're participating in that you want to make sure are a part of their homeschool as well. So this is a form that is for each individual child. And then this form breaks apart the buckets a little more for the group activities, or if you want to continue doing it independently, this just gives you more room to write. It's something that you can also put at the top of a piece of notebook paper. You put your buckets across the top, and then you break it in half. So at the top, you're going to put your specific goals for each of these, and at the bottom, you're going to put your specific resources that you'll use, videos, curricula, activities, field trip ideas, and so forth. That will go on the bottom. Now, when you start this again, you're coming back to your bucket planner and you're looking at your goals. So they're already listed there for you. You're plugging in the ones you just want to focus on this year. So you're taking all that information, that huge feast of ideas, and you're narrowing that focus to just what you want to do this particular school year. And then again, you're looking through your resources on here and plugging those in as applicable. Here you have discipleship, social studies, history, geography, and science. And then on this one, it's PE and health, creative arts, and life skills. And again, if you have completely different buckets, then here's a blank form where you would just plug in the ones that you have if you choose to purchase a planner, and then you can plug in your resources at the bottom. Now, once again, I included some blank forms, so you can use these for read-alouds that you want to do throughout the year. You can use this for readers or independent reading books or books centered on history or science. They're different colors. You can just kind of make copies as needed. And then this is something that I ultimately put back in here so that I have a record of all the books we've been reading throughout our journey. So this has been such a valuable tool for just keeping a record of the things that are most important to us. Now, in this particular document as well, we have holidays and celebrations. So there are 12 boxes here where you would be putting in the date starting, or the month, starting with whatever month you start your homeschool year in. And then just plugging in what are some things going on locally in your community, in your church, or things that you want to do during those months to just really embrace the seasons and that time of the year, and just to create those special memories centered on those holidays and celebrations. So place to log all of that on there. And then the rest of the forms are just to help you get organized. So there is a curriculum and resources wish list on there. I found this very, very helpful throughout the year as I'm seeing things that I like. It sometimes goes in here, but if it's something I'm going to use during this particular school year, then I plug it into my wish list. Then it's something that when I have more funds available or when I'm looking for some more inspiration, I can come back here. It's just for this homeschool year, and I can just keep track of that here. So here's my wish list. There's a form for your homeschool budget to keep track of your budgeting. Homeschool materials list. So you have your resource and your check mark so you can tally that up. And then there's a pre-made one already on there for you with all the basics that you most likely will need in your homeschool. So that form is on there as well. Then you have the homeschool calendar. So you'll see there are 6 months here, and you would duplicate this and have the full year. And again, it's undated, so you can use this system over and over and over again. If you are making your own, I encourage you to get a planner of some sort with all the months laid out so you can map out your homeschool year, map out your holidays, the days you'll take off, the days you want for summer break, however that's going to look for you. Now, we homeschool year round, and so I use this to split it up. And so I'll start off here with September, usually through, I think it's February. Yes, February. and then March all the way through August. And then I put our goals. So if our goal is 170 days per year, then my goal is to get 85 days completed by here and 85 on this side. So I broke all that process down in another video. I'll link it below. It's called Why We Homeschool Year Round and How We Do It. And it kind of shows you how I fill in these particular forms here. An attendance record. And so here I just put the months at the very, very top. And I check off how many days that month we completed, and I can tally it at the bottom really easily to keep track of our days. This is a curriculum overview chart. And you'll notice here it has all the subjects or your buckets. The curriculum, the time that it takes. Will it be a 20-minute thing, a 5-minute thing, a 30-minute, 90-minute? The number of lessons and how many days per week we're going to have to do that curriculum to complete it by the end of the year if that is our particular goal. If I have a curriculum like a group study, for example, like history or science that takes 180 days, for example, I may choose to break that into 2 years. And so it's something that we can do 3 days a week or 2 days a week and just really break that down, enjoy it, add on some read alouds, take some field trips, and really enjoy that process and not just try to rush through the curriculum. So this helps me kind of map that out a little bit better. And then any notes that I want to plug in there at the end. This is lessons at a glance. So I like this form for independent studies. I will put something like reading if I'm using a reading curriculum, for example, and then I'm mapping out how many lessons have to be done at the end of each set of 6 weeks, I believe, in order to complete that curriculum by the end of the year, if again, that is our goal. So this is more specific to independent studies where our goal is to complete as much as possible of a curriculum year by year. But again, it's customizable. If you have a child with special needs, that's not always going to happen. And so you have to be flexible, and using this system really helps you target their needs and their goals so that they're moving forward and they're progressing without all that extra stress and pressure of just being led by a curriculum. Read aloud plan, this just breaks it down. You would just put the book and how many pages you are going to read every single day to break it apart and read it, let's say in 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time, if you want to use a guide like this. I sometimes just put flags in my books and then we just pick it up, and if we want to keep reading that day, we keep reading, and if not, we don't. But if I find that I start slacking off with that, then this kind of helps keep me back on track so that we're setting our goals and making sure that our read alouds are happening consistently throughout the year. Now at the very, very end, there is an end of year evaluation. And so it just asks, did we meet our goals? Why or why not? What worked well? What were some of our favorite memories? And do we need to make any changes next year? So this particular form is actually at the end of every term. So in the next video, video 4, we're going to go over term planning, like planning every 6 weeks or every 9 weeks or every month, depending on how you break up your terms. And so there are evaluations after every little piece. There are little checkpoints to make sure, are we doing okay? Are we meeting our goals? Are we focusing on what is most important, or have we lost our way a little bit? And do we need to get back on track? So that's worked into the system, but at the end of the year, there is this final evaluation along with a student evaluation. So the child also goes through this process. Did I meet my goals? And this is especially helpful as they grow older and are taking more responsibility for their particular learning. Why or why not? What worked well? What were some of my favorite memories? Do I need to make any changes next year? Why or why not? So this will also go into their folder or their portfolio so they can have a record of the goals that they accomplished and what their favorite parts of it were as well. Now, one more thing I've added into the PDF zip file is this student profile sheet. So this just has an overview of their favorites, their age at this particular time, grade, what they like to do for fun, what they do well, what they want to learn about, when they grow up, what they want to do, and any goals for this year. So this is just a fun sheet that I threw in there. It's something that I use with my kids every year to just capture this particular time in their homeschool journey And it's a neat keepsake over the years to see that growth and how they change from year to year. Now what I'm going to do next is flip the camera, and I'm going to share with you a little more on what that PDF looks like if you choose to purchase a system, so that you can follow along with the videos and be able to use those documents in an efficient manner. So let me flip the camera. So over here we have the bucket planner setup. So basically I took the information that I shared in these videos and I just put it in a quick startup guide that you could follow along later on if that helped you just kind of stay on track with everything. It looks like this, and it starts off with number 1, setting up your binders, number 2, establishing your vision, and it just talks you through each document. The big picture, number 3, choosing your subjects, organizing your resources and ideas, tracking your progress, and it goes on from there. Then you have number 2, the bucket planner vision. And so everything we did in video 1, all of those vision planning forms is found here. In this document, you have the big picture. So that's everything from video 2, where we break down the big picture. All the pre-filled forms are on there, and then all of the blank forms as well. Over here is document 4. This is the yearly planning. So this is everything from this video. All of those forms that I just shared with you can be found in here. And then in the next video, we'll talk about term planning. So I'll take you through all this. In the following one, we'll look at weekly planning. And then this is an added bonus that I included here, which has mom planner pages. So you can plug that in. It'll have your goals, your automations, and your weekly planning sheet as well, so that you can actually print that out and plug it into your homeschool planner and have everything all together in one place. And this document over here is that student profile sheet that I just shared with you. And so that's on there as well as another little bonus that I hope you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. I hope this was helpful to you and just helping you capitalize on what is most important in your homeschool and customizing a plan that makes it all possible. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what has been most helpful for you. Gives me some feedback on how to continue on with these videos. But thanks again. I will be back in video 4 to talk about term planning, and then we'll break it down in the last video in weekly planning. So hope to see you there. Thanks again. Stay tuned.